Every morning is a spiritual bank, and what you deposit into it determines what is drawn out across the day. You've been taught to check your phone, your schedule, your inbox, or your balance sheet as soon as your eyes open. But I tell you, none of those things have ever held your true supply. The first words you speak upon waking are the seeds of your experience, and if you do not plant wealth, if you do not plant divine increase, if you do not speak favor and multiplication, then by default, you allow the weeds of fear, doubt, and lack to grow wild across the fields of your day. Before your feet touch the floor, your mouth must open in dominion. The tongue holds the pen that writes the story of your day. And I say, begin by writing wealth. You've been waking into an invisible fog, a fog of old beliefs, past disappointments, and inherited patterns that tell you it's going to be another hard day, another dry season, another postponement of the blessing. That is not truth. That is hypnosis. And I am here to break the trance. You've been waking into a world of facts instead of a world of faith. You've been listening to the ghost of yesterday's bank account instead of the spirit of divine supply. But today, this morning, you awaken into a new order. A spiritual economy where God is your source, the law is your servant, and your word is the transaction that opens every invisible account. There is a lie that has settled into your bones like cold, that you must earn your good, fight for your good, beg for your good, compete for your good. But I speak from the mountaintop of truth, and I say, no. You were never meant to labor under the curse of scarcity. You were created in the image of the infinite source, and wealth is your inheritance by divine right. Not because you worked for it, not because you earned it, but because you agreed with it. The law of wealth is the law of agreement, and agreement begins with speech. Every dollar you manifest, every opportunity that arrives, every stream of income that opens is the outpicturing of something first declared, spoken, decreed. You do not need a better plan, you need a better word. This morning, I confront the habit of waking in fear, the habit of scanning your life for what's missing instead of commanding what's moving. You say, I can't afford it. You say, I'm so behind. You say, I don't know what I'm going to do. And the law says, as you have spoken, so it is. But today, you will speak no more curses. You will not wake up and prophesy defeat. You will rise with a sword in your mouth, the sword of the Spirit, which is the spoken word of God. You will speak prosperity, peace, provision. You will say, this is a day of financial breakthrough, and that word will go forth to prepare the path before your feet. For too long, the morning has belonged to fear, but no more. Now, the morning belongs to faith. Now, the morning belongs to the word. This is the day the Lord hath made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. Psalm 118:24. Do you hear it? That is not passive observation. It is active choice. This is the day, the appointed day, the anointed day, the day that did not come to break you, but to bless you. But you must claim it, with your voice, with your breath, with your word. And I give you this charge, this command, this sacred instruction. The moment your eyes open, speak your wealth. Say it before you feel it. Say it before you see it. Say it before the doubt creeps in. Say, divine supply greets me this morning. Money moves in my direction now. New streams open with ease. God is my instant, constant, lavish source. I prosper wherever I turn. Say it, not once, not weakly, but with rhythm, with boldness, with certainty. Speak your financial breakthrough before the world has a chance to offer its illusions. Speak before you scroll. Speak before you worry. Speak before you check what man says. Say what God says. For you are not just waking up into a new day. You are waking into a new decree, a new dominion, a new demonstration. The word has gone forth, and the word cannot return void. The moment between sleep and wakefulness is not just a blink in time. It is the holy corridor between the unseen and the seen. It is the moment where the veil is thinnest, where the subconscious mind has not yet remembered yesterday's illusions, and the conscious mind has not yet re-entered its habitual trance. In this sacred space, the law is waiting, waiting for instruction, waiting for decree, waiting for the soul to remember its dominion. Most people roll out of bed into worry. They wake up rehearsing yesterday's problems, speaking casually about what they lack, allowing the same mental loop of fear and struggle to resume like an old record dropped on a spinning turntable. But spiritual law is impersonal. It listens not to your tone, but to your command. It moves not by how you feel, but by what you speak. And I tell you plainly, what you say when you rise is the blueprint for how your day will unfold. This is why the ancients prayed with the sunrise. Why Scripture said, "Give us this day our daily bread," not as a plea for survival, but as a metaphysical directive, a claim to divine provision assigned for that specific 24-hour window. That verse was not written for beggars. It was written for believers, for those who understand that spiritual supply is ever available, ever present, and always in circulation, waiting only for agreement. And agreement is always activated through word. Morning is not the time to drift. Morning is not the time to react. Morning is the time to rule. As you speak in the first light, so shall the light of the day be shaped. The law of morning declaration is the law of origination. You do not wait to see what the day brings. You tell the day what it must contain. You say, "Today is a day of abundance." You say, "Divine ideas come to me now." You say, "Everything I need is now appearing on time and with ease." You don't say it because it's already visible. You say it because your word is the root from which all visibility grows. This is the law of the spoken word, the law of expectancy. And the law does not ask, "Did you feel powerful this morning?" It asks only, "What did you decree?" You must stop waiting for the facts to give you permission to feel secure. Stop letting your bank account be your prophet. Stop letting your job title dictate your worth. The world taught you to look around before you look within. But divine mind waits on no condition. It responds only to truth. And the truth is this: the first sound that leaves your lips each morning is not a sound. It is a seed. And what you plant will manifest. Most people plant by default. I'm so tired. I have so much to do. This is going to be a hard day. And so it is. Not because it had to be, but because they spoke it. But you, beloved soul, are waking up differently now. You are not waking into the facts. You are waking into faith. You are not checking what the world says. You are commanding what the law must do. Speak it and let it be so. Speak it before coffee. Speak it before worry creeps in. Speak it while the sun is still quiet in the sky. For those who declare early receive early. Those who decree boldly receive richly. This is not poetry. This is the structure of the universe. This is the word-made law. Say, "The law of divine compensation is activated in my life today. The wealth of heaven is moving through new channels. My income is increasing, my debts are dissolving, my harvest is inevitable." Speak it not for comfort, but for creation. Speak it as a builder speaks over blueprints. Speak it as a king speaks over a kingdom. You are not wishing, you are ruling. And every time you say it, you raise the standard of what the law is allowed to deliver. Let the first words out of your mouth each morning be words of power. Let them be declarations of divine economy, statements of spiritual wealth, commands to the unseen forces that shape your visible experience. And do not stop. Do not say it once and wait. Say it every day until it becomes the only reality you know. For repetition is the rope that ties your conscious mind to the infinite. And with every repetition, you make the truth louder than the lie. Speak now. This is a day of financial overflow. My morning word shapes my day in favor. I command abundance now, and it appears. This is how you rise. This is how you begin. This is how the day bends to serve you. The most dangerous contract is the one you didn't know you signed. And I say to you now, many of you have made silent, unconscious agreements with lack, not because you intended to, not because you wanted to, but because you repeated the words of the world until they became your internal script. You began to believe that limitation was realistic, that struggle was spiritual, that just enough was holy. And so every morning you rise and unknowingly reaffirm that silent contract by the words you speak, the thoughts you allow, and the identity you wear like an old coat that no longer fits. I can't afford that. Money is tight. Maybe one day. You think these words are harmless. You think you are just being practical. But I tell you, these are not casual statements. They are commands, orders, authorizations stamped with the seal of your consciousness and mailed directly to your subconscious, where they are received, accepted, and carried out without resistance. The subconscious does not judge. It does not edit. It does not ask whether you meant to say what you said. It only obeys. And it obeys with perfect precision. It hears, "I can't afford it," and says, "Very well. Block access to supply." It hears, "I never get ahead," and says, "As you wish." Repeat the cycle. The subconscious is the servant of your speech, and when your speech is poisoned by unworthiness, by resignation, by habit, then you are not just delaying your blessing, you are denying it at the door. Many pray for financial breakthrough while simultaneously speaking words that barricade the gate. You do not need more faith. You need fewer contradictions. Your mouth must not cast spells against your own increase. It must not become a tool of sabotage. You cannot speak debt and expect demonstration. You cannot declare lack and then fast for overflow. It is not the fasting of food that brings miracles. It is the fasting of false words. And the most powerful fast you can commit to is this: I refuse to speak lack. I refuse to repeat the language of limitation. I refuse to sign my name to the vocabulary of poverty. For every word carries vibration. Every phrase carries frequency. And the universe, being made of vibration and frequency, will mirror whatever note you sing. You've been programming a locked vault and blaming the bank. You've been cursing the effect and forgetting the cause. But let the scales fall from your eyes. You are the cause, and you are the cure. Every "I can't" must be replaced with "God can." Every "I lack" must be replaced with "I receive." Every "I'm broke" must be replaced with "I am rich in the wealth of divine mind, and my good now appears." It may feel unfamiliar at first. It may feel like a costume. But you are not dressing up. You are dressing in truth. And truth, once worn consistently, reshapes reality. You do not need to scream. You do not need to plead. You need only to agree with truth, with divine provision, with supernatural sufficiency. And that agreement begins with a word that aligns your subconscious with the law of increase, a word that breaks the cycle of inherited fear, a word that ends the drought not just in your wallet, but in your spirit. Say this now, and say it until it becomes your native tongue. I am divinely provided for. All that is mine by right now rushes toward me. I no longer agree with lack. I agree with law. I agree with wealth. I agree with overflow. When you speak this, heaven hears it. The subconscious hears it. And the law begins to rearrange your visible world to match your spoken agreement. This is not about pretending. It is about proclaiming. Proclaiming that you no longer belong to limitation. Proclaiming that you no longer carry the curse of not enough. Proclaiming that you are no longer a hostage to facts. You are a speaker of truth. And every truth you speak becomes a key that unlocks the vault you didn't know you sealed with your own mouth. Doubt has a sound. And the tragedy is, it often sounds like you. It sounds like your voice, laced with casual cynicism, hidden fear, cloaked resignation. It creeps into your morning not as a scream, but as a whisper. And it doesn't always come dressed as panic. It comes as routine, as the groan when the alarm clock goes off, as the sigh before your feet hit the floor, as the quiet internal refrain of not again, nothing's changed, just get through the day. But I tell you this, those words are not neutral. They are not harmless. They are the opening lines of a spell. And the spell is this, that what you spoke will return to you multiplied. The moment you awaken, your field is still fresh. Your soul is soft with possibility. Your subconscious, still open, still fertile, still ready to be planted. And instead of planting divine certainty, most plant doubt. They plant sarcasm. They plant survival. And then they wonder why their day blooms with obstacles, with disappointments, with unfruitful labor. They think the problem lies in their bank account or their boss or the bills. But no. The problem began with what was spoken before the toothbrush touched the sink. The world doesn't move first. The word does. And what you declare when your consciousness first rises is not just a thought. It is a throne. And someone will sit upon it, either the voice of fear or the voice of faith. You may not realize this, but every morning you are making a throne with your speech. And the question is, who are you crowning? Are you crowning lack, crowning doubt, crowning inherited fear, masquerading as realism? Or are you crowning divine intelligence, infinite supply, the living presence of God within you who declares, I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, to give you hope and a future. The law cannot override your own coronation. It will honor the king you place upon that throne. And if doubt is crowned, then doubt shall reign. But if truth is crowned, truth shall rule, and the kingdom shall be called increase. Most people don't even know they've spoken doubt. That's how subtle the habit has become. I don't know if it'll work. Let's just see what happens. Hopefully, something good will come. These words are coded in spiritual uncertainty. They lack command. They lack conviction. They are offerings made on an altar of hesitation. But the law does not respond to hesitation. It responds to certainty. And certainty is built on the word, spoken consistently, rhythmically, morning after morning, until it becomes the only voice that speaks inside you. You have been taught to be careful, not to speak too soon, not to count your blessings before they arrive, not to believe too big lest you be disappointed. But I say to you, speak now, speak early, speak boldly. Do not wait for proof, be the proof. Do not wait for the breakthrough to speak abundance, and the breakthrough shall obey. Doubt delays the harvest, but the word accelerates it. You do not need to be polite with the law, you need to be precise. Say this now, and let it pierce through every morning habit of despair. I do not serve doubt. I do not speak from fear. I rise in faith. I rise in favor. I rise in the overflow of divine supply. This is not a mantra. It is a hammer. It shatters the cycle of spiritual hesitation. It breaks the loop of speaking small and living smaller. It dethrones every false authority that has dared to claim your morning for itself. From now on, when your eyes open, your mouth must open in power. Before the world has a chance to speak over you, you must speak over the world. Before the headlines, the news, the bills, or the doubts speak into your soul, you must flood your atmosphere with truth. Not timid truth, commanding truth. Not whispered hope, thundering decree. Say, I speak wealth into this day. I crown this day with financial favor. I release all doubt and install divine certainty. This day obeys the sound of my voice. And so it is. You have spoken so much worry, beloved soul. You have declared so much doubt, not as a choice, but as a reflex. The mouth has repeated what the world showed you instead of what the Spirit told you. But now, I say, this is the hour of reversal. This is the day you begin again. For the spoken word is not bound by time. It does not care how long you've spoken lack, how many years you've been under the illusion of not enough. One true word, spoken with conviction, can burn down years of delay. One decree, anchored in spiritual law, can uproot the old programming like a fire ripping through a dead forest to make space for new growth. This is not about effort. This is about frequency. The frequency of dominion, the frequency of wealth. And frequency is changed not by hoping, not by working, but by speaking a new sound into the atmosphere of your life. Let me teach you how to repattern your financial life through your morning decree, not through affirmations that flatter the ego, but through declarations that command the law. Declarations that are spoken not from want, but from knowing, not from desperation, but from identity. For the law responds to identity, and identity is always revealed by the tongue. Large sums of money come to me quickly, under grace, in perfect ways. You do not say this as a request. You do not say this as a suggestion. You say this as a verdict, a final word that no appearance can argue with. This statement is a cornerstone in the house of divine wealth. Every time you speak it, you are laying foundation, framing structure, installing windows into a new financial future. Then say, God is my immediate and unfailing supply. This cuts off the lie at the root, the lie that says your job is your source, the lie that says the economy dictates your life, the lie that says help is far away, immediate and unfailing. That means now, that means certain, that means you no longer look to man to meet your need. You no longer rely on human channels to bring you what already belongs to you by divine right. Say it again. God is my immediate and unfailing supply, and feel the burden lift, because it is no longer yours to carry. Then declare, new channels of income are now open to me, not will be, not someday. Now this is where the repatterning begins to multiply, because most people believe only in what they've already seen, but you must now believe in the unseen, in the doors you don't yet know exist, in the opportunities that have not yet taken shape in the visible world, but are already complete in the realm of divine mind. You are not making money come. You are opening the gate, and your word is the key that turns the lock. I am a spiritual millionaire walking in divine surplus. Speak it. Say it with no shame. For you are not speaking greed. You are speaking law. You are not claiming to be better than others. You are claiming to be in right relationship with the infinite supply that God has already declared yours. The world told you to hide your desire, to tone down your vision, to be humble in your expectation. But humility is not thinking small. It is knowing the source is big. And when you speak the truth of divine surplus, you are not boasting, you are aligning. And alignment with truth is the beginning of overflow. Then speak. Every dollar I spend comes back multiplied. This shifts you from the vibration of fear to the vibration of circulation. You are no longer losing when you give. You are no longer spending in anxiety. You are now circulating in the economy of spirit, where every outflow is matched with inflow. You are removing the dam of fear and allowing the river of money to flow freely through your life, knowing that what goes out under grace returns pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Say this also, what is mine by divine right cannot be kept from me. This is the declaration that erases competition, cancels fear of loss, and ends the illusion of being blocked. It puts you in the flow of divine justice. It tells the universe, I do not chase what's mine, I claim it. It tells the subconscious, I no longer live in delay, I live in receipt. You do not need to manipulate people or force outcomes. What is yours will find you the moment you stop contradicting it with fear, and declare finally, I prosper wherever I turn. This installs the expectation that no matter what door you walk through, no matter what phone call you make, no matter what client you serve or what place you enter, you prosper, not by chance, not sometimes, but wherever you turn, because you bring the wealth with you. You bring the frequency of favor with you. You carry the mantle of multiplication, not as a visitor, but as an embodiment. Now I tell you this, these declarations are not suggestions. They are weapons. They are tools of construction. They are daily assignments you hand to the law, and the law fulfills them without fail. But you must speak them aloud. Do not merely think them. Do not whisper them with hesitation. Speak them with rhythm. Speak them with cadence. Speak them like you mean them, because you do. And speak them before anything else. Before the headlines, before the phone, before the world. Make your decree the loudest sound in your morning, and let that sound become the frequency that shapes your financial day, for your outer life is always the shadow of your inner word. Change the word, and the world follows. Say it now, with me. Large sums of money come to me quickly, under grace, in perfect ways. God is my immediate and unfailing supply. New channels of income are now open to me. I am a spiritual millionaire walking in divine surplus. Every dollar I spend comes back multiplied. What is mine by divine right cannot be kept from me. I prosper wherever I turn. Say it daily. Say it boldly. And say it until it becomes the only language your life speaks. Let me tell you what happens when a man stops worshiping the facts and begins to serve the truth. Let me show you what shifts when someone changes the first sound they make in the morning, from groaning, from doubting, from forecasting struggle, to commanding the law with spiritual certainty. There was a man who came to me once, worn down by the weight of unmet expectations. He worked faithfully. He followed every rule they gave him. He checked every box. He studied every financial plan. But still, it felt as if increase was locked in a room with no door. Each morning, he would wake up with a lump in his chest and the same pattern of thought looping in his mind. Nothing is working. I'm behind. I can't catch up. And of course, the day would unfold exactly as he had spoken. Not because he was cursed, but because he was consistent in the wrong direction. He had faith, but it was inverted. It was faith in delay, faith in limitation, faith in appearances. And the law, being impersonal and exact, gave him the fruits of his faith. Then he came across one of my affirmations, not as entertainment, not as another idea to collect, but as an instruction, a mandate, a divine prescription to speak boldly, rhythmically, and early, before anything else could hijack his day. I told him, don't touch your phone, don't open your banking app, don't check the numbers, speak first, and speak as one who already possesses the wealth. At first, he hesitated. His reasoning mind resisted. It feels fake, he said, and I told him, of course it does. You've been trained to speak what you see, but now you will speak what is true. So he began. Every morning before his feet hit the floor, he said, God is my immediate and unfailing supply. Large sums of money come to me quickly, under grace, in perfect ways. He said it aloud. He said it with power. He said it until his voice no longer trembled. He said it not as a question, but as a decree. And though nothing seemed to change at first, something was already shifting. Not outside, but within. For every word was carving a new groove in the subconscious. Every declaration was dissolving the residue of inherited lack. Every morning decree was breaking up the soil where old disappointments had hardened his faith. And after 3 days, he saw the first crack in the old wall. An unexpected refund arrived in the mail. Money he had forgotten was owed to him. Then a former client reached out with a proposal. I don't know why I thought of you this morning, they said, but your name just came to me. And within a week, a new stream of income had opened. Not by his hustle, not by his struggle, but by the alignment of his word with divine law. The difference was not in the market. The difference was not in the economy. The difference was in the morning decree. The moment he spoke from dominion, dominion began to respond. This is not a fantasy. This is not motivational fluff. This is spiritual law. This is the power of the spoken word, activated at the most critical hour of the day, when your mind is still soft, your spirit still clear, and your faith still uncontaminated by the static of the world. You do not need to understand how. You need only to speak. You do not need to figure it out. You need only to declare. The law is not looking for effort. It is looking for instruction. So I say to you now, let this be your shift. Let this be your moment of reversal. Before you begin to scroll, before you drink your coffee, before you even open your eyes fully, speak your word. Speak the word of wealth. Speak the word of provision. Speak the word that opens gates and unlocks new income, new favor, new timing. And know that the law is listening, not to your feelings, not to your fears, but to your decree. Say, this day begins with divine provision. The gates of supply swing open. Money flows to me in perfect ways. What I seek is seeking me now. And the moment you do, the atmosphere begins to rearrange. The unseen becomes visible. The law begins to move. And like that man, you too will one day say, it started the moment I spoke differently. The great lie of this world is that fear is rational, especially where money is concerned. But I tell you, fear is never rational. It is spiritual amnesia. It is forgetting who you are, what you carry, and what law governs your life. Fear is not merely an emotion. It is a false agreement with lack. And nowhere is that fear more subtly destructive than in the quiet hours of the morning, when your soul is waking and the veil between thoughts and spirit is still thin. The ego wakes early. It is the first to rise. Before your spirit has had a chance to speak, the ego whispers, there's not enough. You're still behind. What if it all falls apart today? And if you do not speak first, fear will. That is why the morning must belong to God. It must belong to the Word. It must belong to your declaration, not your doubt. Because once fear gets a foothold, it rewrites the entire script of your day. Your energy dims. Your faith grows quiet. Your subconscious takes its orders and begins to seek only more evidence of struggle, of delay, of separation from supply. But hear me now. The fear is not fact. It is residue. It is the echo of a world that taught you to rely on appearances, to measure your worth by numbers, to equate your bank account with your safety. And when you wake up and immediately start looking at those appearances, checking balances, refreshing accounts, calculating what hasn't come, you are placing your trust in the illusion and bowing once again at the altar of facts. But facts are not truth. They are snapshots of former words made visible. If you want different facts, you must speak a different word. Do not wait for the fear to subside before you speak. Speak into the fear. Speak through the fear. Your declaration is not weak because fear is present. Your declaration is the remedy. It is the light that dissolves the fog. It is the sound that cancels the static. You say, but I still feel afraid. And I say, it doesn't matter. The law does not move by your feelings. It moves by your decree. Your job is not to feel ready. Your job is to speak with power anyway. Because fear only wins when silence reigns. You've been entering the temple of the morning with fear instead of faith. You've been waking up and bringing lack into your spiritual sanctuary. But now we cast it out. Now we declare the house clean. Now we reclaim the morning altar. Say it with me, not as a suggestion, but as a sacred order. I cast the burden of debt on the Christ within, and I go free. This is not just a nice phrase. This is a sword. It severs your tie to the illusion that money is your master. It reestablishes your identity as one who is ruled by spirit, not shortage. Say also, there is no fear in divine mind, only circulation, increase, and overflow. And let the vibration of those words begin to wash over the subconscious patterns that have been carved into you since childhood. Let it cleanse every thought that once said, you'll always struggle. There's never enough. You're too late. These are lies. And lies cannot live in the light. Your morning word is that light. And now speak. My word cancels all appearance of lack. That means your spoken decree is stronger than your visible reality. That means the moment you say it, the law begins to rearrange what you thought was fixed. That means even if the bills are real, the delay is not. Even if the numbers seem final, the truth is fluid. The word overrides. The word rewrites. The word reorders everything to match its vibration. You must understand, when you speak divine provision in the morning, you are not just thinking positively. You are engaging in spiritual warfare. You are dismantling the throne of fear and re-establishing the reign of truth. And every day you do it, that fear gets smaller, quieter, less persuasive, until it is nothing more than a memory of a voice you no longer answer. The angels go to work while your conscious mind shuts down. They await the word. They await the decree. They are not moved by your panic. They are moved by your power. Give them something to act upon. Let them carry your declarations into the places you cannot see, into the offices and inboxes and financial systems you don't even know are being activated. You don't have to know how. You just have to speak. Now I offer you a sequence, a rhythm of truth to be spoken while the sun is still low, while the fear still knocks, while the ego still stirs. Say it boldly. No weapon formed against my finances shall prosper. I will lie down and not be afraid, and I rise with spiritual certainty. I wake up into answered prayer. My provision is already secured. I cast out the voice of lack and crown this day with wealth. I speak and the law responds. I decree increase, and it appears. Let these words become your armor. Let them become your breath. Let them become the shield you raise before the world begins to speak. And when fear rises tomorrow, it will not find you unguarded. It will find you dressed in light, cloaked in truth, and speaking the language of the wealthy in spirit, the language that fear cannot translate. Overflow is not a dream. It is not a fantasy reserved for the select few, the naturally lucky, the ones born into fortune or riding the wave of perfect timing. No, divine financial overflow is the natural result of spiritual alignment. It is what happens when your inner word matches the rhythm of divine mind, when your declarations align with the truth of supply rather than the illusion of struggle. It is not loud, though it may be grand. It does not always arrive with a trumpet, though its effects are undeniable. Overflow is quiet, confident, unshakable. It is the feeling that everything you need already exists and is moving toward you even now. You must understand what this overflow looks like so you may recognize it, not miss it. For the ego has trained you to only recognize provision in the form of cash or checks, but overflow comes in many forms. It may arrive as a sudden inspiration that turns into income. It may appear as a cancellation of debt you didn't expect. It may come as favor with a person who opens a new stream of access. It may unfold as perfect timing, divine rerouting, opportunities so aligned they cannot be manufactured by effort alone. You wake up, speak your word, and then, seemingly by coincidence, you're at the right place at the right time. But I say, it's not coincidence. It's consequence. Consequence of the word spoken. Consequence of the alignment maintained. Overflow may look like peace where you once panicked, clarity where there once was confusion, wisdom in decision-making that protects your wealth before it's even generated. And yes, it will come as visible financial increase too, because divine supply is not symbolic. It is real. It pays bills. It multiplies income. It opens doors that men have shut. But its root is not in the visible. Its root is in the spiritual, and that root is watered by your word. Overflow is what occurs when your vibration becomes inhospitable to lack. When your spirit becomes so saturated with truth that doubt can no longer find a foothold. When you become a match for abundance, not because of your hustle, but because of your declaration. Many think overflow will come through the next job, the next launch, the next promotion. But divine overflow does not wait on conditions. It begins the moment you stop agreeing with limitation. It begins the moment you stop crowning the external world as your source. You must stop looking at your bank account to determine what is possible. Your account is a reflection of past consciousness, not a prophecy of your future. The prophecy of your future is spoken by your mouth each morning. That is where overflow is born, not in the numbers, but in the narrative. So I ask you, what are you narrating? Are you narrating struggle? Are you narrating just enough? Are you rehearsing how hard it is, how long it's been, how tired you are? Or are you narrating truth? I walk in the rhythm of wealth. Divine supply knows my name. Money flows in perfect time, through perfect channels, without strain or delay. This is what overflow looks like before it manifests. It looks like the sound of a soul who knows. It looks like the frequency of one who is not begging, but commanding. Imagine a life where nothing feels out of reach, where the next step appears before you need to take it, where every investment is guided, every expenditure is blessed, every idea carries profit, every door opens before you knock. That is not fiction. That is not reserved for the few. That is your inheritance, but you must align with it. And alignment begins each morning. It begins not with what you do, but with what you speak. Remember this: divine overflow is not something you chase, it's something you host, and your speech is the invitation. It does not rush, it does not struggle. It arrives where there is room made by consistency of truth, rhythm of declaration, surrender to the invisible order of wealth. It does not require force, it requires voice. Say this now, and let it anchor deep into your daily reality. I live in the flow of divine wealth. I am a steward of spiritual abundance. Every need is met, every channel is open, every desire fulfilled. Overflow is my new normal. Say it, speak it, and soon you will not only believe it, you will live it. If you want to shift your finances, shift your mornings. For the morning is not just a beginning, it is a blueprint. It is not a routine, it is a realm. The hours just after waking are sacred, the veil is thin, and the law is listening. This is not the time for scrolling through illusions or replaying yesterday's defeats. This is the time for throne speech, for commanding the day before it commands you. Before you speak to anyone else, before you speak to your spouse, your phone, your bills, or even your breakfast, you must speak to the law. You must speak to your own spirit. You must speak to your supply. For the word you give in those first few minutes becomes the architecture of your entire day. You don't need a complicated ritual. You need a divine protocol. Simple, powerful, law-rooted, uncompromising. It begins before your feet touch the floor. Before your mind remembers what the world calls real, you awaken into spirit. And spirit must speak. You wake, and before you ask how much, when, or from where, you declare what is. And what is wealth. What is supply. What is provision moving toward you without resistance. So you speak, not from fear, not from doubt, but from knowing, from dominion, from the upper room of consciousness where all things are already done. Step 1. Speak your word aloud. Let your voice be the first sound your mind hears. Not your thoughts, not your doubts, your voice. Declare, this is a day of divine increase. I am surrounded by unexpected blessings. I walk in the rhythm of wealth. Money comes to me now, quickly, under grace, in perfect ways. Let your voice become a vibration that ripples into every unseen dimension and begins the rearrangement of matter. Say it before you think about how. Say it before you look at what's due. Say it as the architect of your atmosphere. Step 2. Do not check your phone. Do not check your email. Do not scroll. The moment you allow external voices to enter your space before truth is established, you have already surrendered your throne. The ego wants to rush into action, into checking, into controlling. But the spirit operates in rhythm, not in panic. Trust that what must come will come, but only after you speak. Step 3. Repeat 3 to 5 of your core financial declarations, not mindlessly, not softly, but with rhythm, with conviction. Let them be old truths spoken in fresh power each morning. Choose them as you would choose your clothes, deliberately. Let them dress your day in spiritual certainty. Say, God is my immediate and unfailing supply. Every dollar I spend comes back multiplied. New streams of income now open to me. I prosper wherever I turn. What is mine by divine right cannot be kept from me. Let these words become as habitual as brushing your teeth, because they are cleaning something far more powerful, your frequency. Step 4. Visualize. See the law in motion. See money moving toward you. See solutions unfolding. See the bills paid, not from anxiety, but from abundance. See the door open, the phone call coming, the unexpected miracle delivered, not as fantasy, but as law in demonstration. For whatever image you hold with feeling becomes a mold for the invisible to take form, and the morning is the most potent time for molding. Step 5. Seal it. Say, "This is a day of financial favor and divine provision. I expect it. I command it. I walk in it." Then rise, not to chase, not to strive, but to receive. Walk through your day as one already chosen, already supplied, already wealthy in spirit. Watch how the doors respond to your vibration. Watch how people speak differently to you, how opportunities find you, how solutions reveal themselves. Not because you worked harder, but because you spoke earlier. You are now living by a new standard, a new rhythm, a new protocol. And this protocol is not based on discipline. It is based on dominion. You do not need to beg. You do not need to prove. You need only to declare, daily, consistently, until the frequency of wealth is no longer a practice. It is your default state. So commit this to memory. Speak before action. Declare before doubt. Envision before movement. Seal before stepping. And if you forget, return. Return to the word. Return to the rhythm. Return to the throne room of morning where wealth is made and days are ordered. Say now, and say it loud, "I rise as one with divine supply. This day is already blessed. I speak the word, and the law obeys. I am wealth in motion." And then, go live it. Now that you have cleared the soil and laid the foundation, it is time to plant the seed. Deep, rhythmic, truth-charged affirmations that do not beg, do not wish, do not seek approval, but declare spiritual fact with absolute authority. These are not affirmations in the casual sense of the world. These are spiritual codes, keys, invocations that realign your vibration with the infinite source of all wealth. When you speak them, speak as if heaven has already agreed, because it has. Speak as if the law is already in motion, because it is. Speak as if the invisible has already begun forming visible supply around you, because the moment the word is spoken, the process begins. Let your breath carry these words. Let your voice find its rhythm. Let your cells hear the command. Let the air around you vibrate with certainty. This is not repetition for the sake of volume. It is repetition for the sake of dominion. Each phrase is a hammer. Each phrase is a river. Each phrase is a pillar in the temple of financial demonstration. Let these words be written into your morning. Let them be the gates you walk through every day before the world offers you anything. Say with me now, "This is a day of divine increase." Not just someday, not in the future. This day. The law does not operate in delay. It responds to now. Let your declaration be present, and your supply will be present with it. Money comes to me from expected and unexpected places. This speaks to the boundlessness of God. You do not need to know the how. The supply is not limited to the methods you understand. Declare this, and you will find streams opening where there were none, favor appearing where you least imagined. All channels of supply are now open. All. Not some. Not the few you can control. Speak this, and the law begins to reroute, redirect, and redesign your access points. Doors you never considered begin to unlock because the word gave permission. I walk in the rhythm of financial favor. You are not catching up. You are not struggling forward. You are walking in divine time, divine flow, divine alignment. The rhythm of heaven governs your steps, and favor moves with you like a wind at your back. I am divinely guided to wealth. You are not lost. You are not confused. Divine intelligence within you knows exactly where to go, what to say, who to call, what idea to pursue. Say this, and watch how clarity floods your path. I am a faithful steward of divine abundance. This is not just about receiving, it is about identity. You are one who carries wealth well. You are trusted by the law. You are aligned not only to increase, but to wisdom. Speak this, and the law will trust you with more. Now, seal the sequence. Raise your voice in truth, with no hesitation, no apology, no doubt. Let the last word be the loudest. I rise in power. I walk in overflow. I speak wealth, and it appears. Again, I rise in power. I walk in overflow. I speak wealth, and it appears. Again, I rise in power. I walk in overflow. I speak wealth, and it appears. Let these words be the crown of your morning. Let them be the final chisel stroke in the sculpture of your financial reality. They are not decorations. They are design. The law is now instructed. The angels are now activated. The vibration has been raised. Go forth, and let the world rearrange itself in response to the truth you just declared. If this word stirred something in you, if it awakened a memory of who you truly are, of what you truly carry, of what is truly yours by divine right, then you must return. Not because I need your presence, but because your spirit craves the rhythm. The law thrives on consistency. The subconscious requires repetition. Faith is strengthened not by scattered bursts of inspiration, but by daily fire. Return here, not for motivation, but for maintenance. Not for hype, but for harmony. Return to remember that you are not alone in this truth-speaking, wealth-declaring, dominion-walking life. You are part of a collective, a divine body of declarers who rise early to speak order, who rise early to plant increase, who rise early to anoint the day with authority. Subscribe not just to a channel, but to a frequency, a way of being, a way of beginning. Let every morning you spend here be a holy return to the throne room of speech, where nothing is missing, nothing is broken, and every spoken word becomes a living thing. Comment if you must. Write your declaration and make it public. Let the echo of your faith ripple through this digital temple. Speak your word into this space, and let it be sealed with the agreement of thousands. Let the algorithm become an altar. Let the scroll become sacred ground. Let the comment box be a chorus of faith that the universe cannot ignore. And above all, remember this: you are not a beggar. You are not an orphan. You are not behind. You are a speaker of truth, a vessel of wealth, a spiritual architect. You do not sleep in fear. You do not rise in doubt. You do not walk in desperation. You speak. You rise. You receive. Return here each morning. Speak this word, and let overflow meet you before your second cup of tea.